Audi, we are talking a little less than 24 hours before your guys' big game against Iowa. And, honestly, though, I want to start with, I imagine you're probably on campus right now. And one thing I think about a lot for college athletes is this idea of you go from Audi Crooks, the student, to Audi Crooks, the superstar, pretty seamlessly, right? Like you put on that uniform and it's like Clark Kent turning into Superman. I'm just curious, what is that like for you?
It's I don't really view myself in that way. Other people have that perception of me, but to me, it's not necessarily putting on the Clark Kent
Mm-hmm.
mask, because to me, I'm just Audie. I am a student and I do play basketball, but that's just a small piece of my life and of my story. So it's definitely different though to go from just, riding on the bus with everybody else with my backpack on to being in Hilton 10,000 plus watching you and yelling your name. So it's definitely a different dynamic, but I try to keep them as connected as possible.
How do you do that though?
It's hard. It's definitely
Mm-hmm.
hard. And even like with my team and with my friends and my family, it's hard to go out in public and enjoy any sort of activity. We can't go anywhere without somebody saying something, which I appreciate. But sometimes it's like, man, I just want to be Audie today.
Mm-hmm.
But how I try to do that is just recognize that it's a part. It's a part of me. It's a part of my story, and it's all intertwined.
Yeah, I mean, there's just so many people I feel like that look up to you, right? Like when did that shift happen as far as your life actually changing in the public eye and like people coming up to you and stuff like that?
I would say it picked up most drastically after my 40-point game. I believe it was my freshman year in March Madness. It was
Mm-hmm.
when we came back and won against Maryland. So that
Yeah.
was all over. And so I feel like I became and went from like a state name to like a household national to being known on a national scale. So I think that's when things really changed for me.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like you've been in the public eye for such a long time. Like we've known who you are for a very long time. And as I was doing research on this interview, I realized you're only 20 years old. And that
Mhm.
almost hit me like a ton of bricks because I feel like you've been in my like I've seen you playing since I think like you were in high school or something. So
Yeah.
it's just kind of cool to see, but I also feel like man, you've lived a lot of life for 20.
I absolutely have. I've had a lot of different experiences, met so many people, been so many places, and I mean the ball's taken me a long way. So just grateful to be an athlete.
Yeah, that's cool. So let's talk about your season that you're
Hmm.
having. So you're leading the nation in points. You're shooting an absurd 73% from the field. You already have two 40-point games, 47 against Indiana
Hmm.
last week. And I'm just kind of curious, like the combination of things that we're seeing, career low in turnovers, improved free throw shooting.
Yeah.
What combination of things clicked for you that's allowed it feels like things have just slowed down for you?
Right. Absolutely. I think as a basketball player, you're always trying to evolve and elevate. And this off season, I feel like I really took it upon myself with with greater intention to improve
Mhm.
in those areas that I was weaker in, to make sure that my field goal percentage was a little bit better, to take extra time after practice to shoot those free throws. And now honestly the work is just actually showing up.
That's great to see. And you also, I mean, you played in America this off season too, right? Like over the summer, you
Yeah.
got to represent your country. What was that like?
That was amazing. I think that's, every athlete's dream to represent their country on that big of a scale, and in Chile, and just wearing USA across your chest is something that I'll never forget. And we brought
Mhm.
home the gold.
Yeah, yeah. You also, I mean, you were coached by Carol Lawson as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
And she's a very unique coach who has also a pretty advanced system as well. What was it like to learn her system?
Yeah, it was definitely different. I feel like anytime you take a bunch of college athletes that most of the time have been at one place for a little while and have been under one coach for a little
Mhm.
while, and you introduce them to a new system, it's definitely an adjustment. So I just kind of went in there like a sponge, ready to absorb everything that she had to say and her system. And yeah, it was cool to be seen in a different lens, and to just get some different feedback.
That's interesting. Seen in a different like what did you learn from her?
Honestly, it's just, the philosophy of
Mhm.
basketball for her is different than what we do here at Iowa State, and defensive minded, I would say a little bit more, and a lot more, what's the word? More fundamental, I think,
Mm,
on offense. It's not so much when you have the best players in the country, you're not just focused on 1 or 2 or 3 girls. Like, everybody on the team can ball. So, I
mhm.
feel like what we did was just kinda take fundamental movements and turn that into success. So that was cool to just be able to kinda go back and break down some really, it's kind of like simple basketball techniques,
Mm.
but they were so, so effective.
Yeah, what was that for you? Like, what did you learn about yourself or take into your game this season?
Yeah, it was just, I would say a lot more catered towards, like, your basketball IQ.
Mm,
Like, not so much playing and just playing the plays, like, we were able to play a little bit more freely and read off of each other, so I think my IQ expanded a lot this summer, just being in a
mm.
different system and taking in a lot of different criticisms and, ways to tweak and improve the game, so I think that would be the biggest, improvement and takeaway for me this summer.
That makes a lot of sense because, like, I feel like you've always, like, held your space really well as a player, like, I don't think you really get rushed too much, but I have noticed, like, it slowed down even more, like, to a degree where it's like pump fake, pump fake, pump fake, like, you know what and I imagine part of that is also, like, you've been guarded the same way for
Yeah,
so many years now as well, like, it does feel like you just kind of know, right? Like, there's, like, whether it's single coverage, doubles, triple, like, you kinda, like, it feels like you just have that command at this point in
absolutely.
this season. Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry, go ahead. Were you gonna say something
No,
or oh,
no, for
okay.
sure. It's just,
Yeah.
teams throw a lot of different things
Mhm.
at me night in and night out, so like you said, I've seen it all.
Yeah, for sure. So, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about growing up in Algona.
Yeah.
What was it like? Like, so I was looking it up, it's like 5,000 people. Was it small town sort of vibes? Like, did everybody know each other? Was there a big sports culture?
Absolutely. So, there's actually 2 schools, 2 high schools in the town of
Mhm.
Alabama. One's a public school, one's a private school. I went to the private Catholic school, definitely a lot smaller. I graduated with 36 people in my class,
Wow.
so that kinda gives you a little, look into it, but the
Mhm.
school honestly is very successful because a lot of students are in multiple things. Like, I was a multi-sport athlete. I was
Mm.
involved in the music and the drama programs there, and it definitely does build a culture because when you are so tightly knitted to each other, like, the success and the time that you spend as a team means so much more, and I
Mm.
think it goes a whole lot farther.
Are you still friends with a lot of the people that you graduated high school with?
Yeah, absolutely. We keep in touch once in a while. One of my teammates in high school, she was a point guard. Her name is Molly Joy. She actually plays at the University of South Dakota now. So
Oh, cool.
we keep up, and I keep tabs on her. She keeps tabs on me. So it's cool to see, my teammates have success in their own ways.
Nice. Was there, like, a big like, there's 2 schools in the town. Is there a rivalry between the schools? Would you
Yeah,
guys play each other?
absolutely. We would play our basketball teams, men and women, both play each other over Christmas break. So everybody's families
Oh,
all
okay.
come and watch, and it's competitive for sure.
That is so cool. That's kinda like that's almost like a homecoming vibe. I love
Right,
that.
right.
Yeah. Yeah, well, and basketball has always been so big in Iowa, especially women's basketball, just a storied 3-on-3 history, and then, of course, like, the last few years with, like, the Hawkeyes and Caitlin Clark and the way that, they brought a spotlight to that state, but even before that, like, it is one of the most sort of passionate states about women's basketball and always has been. Is that something that you grew up around? Like, I feel like women's basketball and, like, what it means to people is, like, come around to everybody else now, but was that something that was always, like, sort of around you?
Absolutely. It's something that I was always aware of. Grew up watching UNI, Drake, Iowa, and Iowa
Uh-huh.
State as a kid. Obviously, I think all 4 Division One programs are elite level. They're all successful, but it's always been around for us in the state of Iowa. And I think part of that is because we don't really have a professional sports team. So
Mm,
in this state, everybody, it's like we were just talking about Harry Potter and the houses. You get sorted into a house when you're a kid,
yeah.
and you stick to it, and that's, what I grew up doing, was watching.
Got it, got it. So was Iowa State like you said you're a Hufflepuff, so it was always Iowa State? Was that always the school that drew you?
I grew up the other way. I grew up
Really?
my family, liked the school out east, and, so I was raised that way, but
Really? You
I
won't even say its name?
not right now, not right
No,
now.
right now, okay, you're locked in. Is there do you guys have, like like dartboards on the wall with, like, Hawkeye uniforms?
No, no, no. It's
Mhm,
not like that at all. It's not
mhm.
personal or anything, but it's just, it's fun and it's a different environment and it's just like a whole new level of competition. I mean, I have no ill will towards
Mhm.
I love the University of Iowa. They're a phenomenal program and I wish them a lot of success, just not tomorrow.
Right, right, yeah. So how did Coach Bill Fennelly, how did he convert you then?
Honestly, that's a great question, and I think, something that Iowa State did that really set the rest apart was they really made me feel cared for as a person, as opposed to
Mm,
just a player, and I think that's something, like, for me in my recruitment process is kind of when the NIL space was coming into effect and I would go on visits and people would, try to throw the shiny gold new numbers, attendance, uniforms, NIL
mm,
deals, and I didn't care about any of that. I just wasn't raised
yeah.
on those morals, so I feel like Iowa State never stirred in that direction. And that's something that I really, really appreciated. And, Coach Fenley, something I'll never forget on my visit, he said, Audie, if you don't play here at Iowa State University, it'll be your fault. Like
Mm,
it'll be your fault. I'm not if you don't start, it's your fault. So that's a take that I really liked because I don't want to be given anything in life. I want to earn everything that I get and to know that he's kind of old school and has that mindset and I was raised on that mindset. I think that
mhm.
that's what really sealed the deal for me.
That must have been such an interesting experience too, to also be in high school, to have that level of fame as well already. Like
Mhm.
you were on ESPN as, basically a teenager. And yeah, I imagine it makes people think that you probably do want to leverage that. And of course you do have a platform that you want to use and you should. And, NIL is great for athletes, but gosh, like at the age that you were, even the age you are right now, like God, that must just be so much to navigate. Like, is it
Yeah,
hard to kinda keep the main thing sometimes?
I think it for sure can be because, like you said, athletes, we have our platform. We want to use it. We want to
Mhm.
maximize these NIL opportunities while we can. But I think sometimes that crowds the main thing if you allow
Yeah.
it to. Like if you don't consciously make that decision and consciously are aware of the main purpose of why we're here, which is to number one, get an education, number two, play athletics, and number three, financially benefit from that
Right.
then I think it can get a little bit muddy.
Yeah, has that ever been the case for you? Is it something that you've had to kind of put yourself out of before?
No, no, I've always had I know my goals, I know why I'm here,
Mhm.
and,
Yeah.
the NIL space, is amazing, and I think it's long overdue for college athletics, but it's really just a perk. It's not
Yeah.
the main reason why I play basketball.
Yeah. Well, I know that faith is a really big part of your
Absolutely.
life. Like, do you ever think about why it is that you were given a spotlight? What like, if there was a purpose behind that?
Mhm. For sure. Yeah, I think it's easy to step back and say, Lord, why me? Why did you give me and bless me with this opportunity? But growing up in a Catholic school, having faith instilled in me at a young age, it's always been something that I followed. So I absolutely do believe that it's my purpose and
Mhm.
it is my passion to be here and do what I do and generating a lot of support. And I've met a lot of super cool people that have shared their stories with me and talk about how I can inspire them just by what I do on the basketball court. So I want to make sure that, whenever I play and in anything that I do, that I'm always portraying the goodness of God through basketball on the court. People know me for my smile. Like I just try
Mhm.
to really enjoy and be where my feet are. And yeah, the Lord has blessed me tremendously.
Yeah, you have, people definitely do know you for your smile. I feel like, the way that you play with joy is something that definitely people are drawn to, and I've seen those
Yeah.
smile, like, Audi shirts and whatnot. But
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you something a little bit different. Like, when you are having a bad day or you're not feeling
Mhm.
so great, like, how do you cheer yourself up? Like, what do you do in those days?
Right. I think this is something that's really, really important to talk about actually, because like mental health and
Mhm.
student athletes and all these different pressures and things can definitely, definitely be a lot. And so for me, I just kind of go back to the pillars of what makes me me, the pillars that don't move ever in my
Mhm.
life. So for me, that's faith, that's family, that's friends, that's music. Those are
Mm.
things that, God willing, will not be taken away and have not
Yeah.
have not moved yet. The ball's going to stop bouncing eventually, so I'm not going to let that necessarily dictate how I feel about myself, my self-worth. I
Mhm.
might be in a bad mood for a day or two, but I'm always gonna bounce back because I know I have things that can't be moved.
Mhm. Is that generally the thing that gets you in a bad mood, a bad loss or a game? Is
I
that
wouldn't
really?
say that. I
Yeah.
wouldn't say that. I definitely don't like to lose, but,
Mhm.
sometimes it's stressful balancing, like you said, all these things,
Mhm.
the NIL space, school, athletics. You wanna make sure that, you are hitting on all cylinders, but it's hard to do that at all times
Mhm.
and still make time, for your mental health and for, the things that I need in my personal life. So it's
Yeah.
definitely a time management thing, and I feel like the older I've gotten, the better I've gotten at that. So,
Mm.
yeah, I would
Yeah.
say but it can be hard, but it's something that you kinda gotta play around with.
Yeah, for sure. That's actually, I think part of the reason that people were drawn to you too is that how you've handled loss, right? Like I think
Mhm.
that after you guys, lost to Stanford, that press conference, just like the gratitude that you exuded and also like the words that you said about your dad. And then even last season too, like not necessarily the season that you guys maybe wanted to have, but I think that you guys handled it really well. And now it's carrying over. Like what do you think allows you to do that?
I think it's just approaching everything for me from
Mhm.
a perspective and a lens of gratitude. Like, you might not have the number in front of your team that you want. You might not be ranked as high as you want. You might lose in the
Uh-huh.
first round, but you had the opportunity to play. Like you just being here is the
Yeah.
accomplishment. Getting to this level is an accomplishment. Obviously, we want more. It's in
Mhm.
human nature to always want
You
more and
always
want
want more,
better
yeah.
and do better, but
Mhm.
it's really not the destination, it's the journey. I know everybody says that, but that's so true. And for me here at Iowa State, when I'm so closely knitted and I enjoy going to practice every day, I enjoy
Mhm.
playing basketball games, I enjoy having conversations with the coaching staff, like, the losses feel about this big, and it just
Mhm.
doesn't even come close to the joy
Yeah.
that you feel and the love that you feel and how much you feel supported throughout the season.
Yeah. What's your favorite thing about basketball?
I would say my favorite thing about basketball is, my teammates
Mhm.
and doing it with other people. Like, when
Yeah.
you can be a part of something that's bigger than yourself and that allows you to make new connections and gives you a platform and gives you the opportunity to meet other players. I think that's something that's really, really special, and we're in a unique boat as women's basketball players, so being able to talk and
Yeah.
conversate and pick the brains of other people that are in a similar situation is, super beneficial.
Yeah, well, you kinda had that experience, like, you have it with your teammates, of course, but
Mhm,
AmeriCup and then, like, the Unrivaled experience as well, like, you signed an NIL deal with them, and then,
mhm.
you got to kinda hang out with the other NIL stars like Juju, then kinda Hidalgo and Flau'jae Johnson and a bunch of others. What was that experience like to actually just be around, like, probably, like, really the only people in the world that understand what it's like to be you?
Right. Absolutely, that was so much fun. You see these players online, and I mean, we know roughly who each other are, but to be able
Mhm.
to have a conversation face to face and get to know them a little bit on a more personal level just makes I feel like me as an individual feel more seen and heard because here
Yeah.
are all these people that are going through the same things and they're feeling the same emotions and they have the same thoughts. Like just knowing that you're not necessarily alone, we're not alone
Mhm.
in this space, but there are people that can genuinely relate to you and what you're going through. That was
Yeah.
super cool to see.
Was there anyone in particular that you vibed with?
Yeah, for sure. I would say Olivia Miles and
Mm,
Flage. I think I talked to them probably the most. So,
yeah. About, like, what did you guys connect on?
me and Flage really connected on music and
Mhm.
our faith life, and
Yeah.
we had some good conversations about that, and so that was super cool. We had a video that we posted where I was playing piano and we were both
Yeah.
singing. That kind of went all over the internet,
I
so
saw that,
that was
yeah.
fun to be able to share that passion, and me and Olivia, I don't know, our personalities just clicked. I mean,
Mhm.
she's a troll, she's always goofing off, laughing, but she can also turn it on and be super serious, so it
Mm.
was cool to play with her. She's a great point guard, super high basketball IQ, crazy
Mhm.
assists, so
Yeah.
just to be able to share the floor with her was something special.
Yeah, she's a highlight reel for sure. She's so fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Let's talk about music. So you play 5 instruments, right?
I do.
So let me see if I remember. Guitar,
Mhm.
piano, trumpet, violin, Okay, you gotta help me out. What am I
So I
missing?
don't play the violin actually. I tried. It did not go well.
Okay.
But I failed. But it's guitar, bass guitar, the
Mm.
drums, the trumpet, and what's the other one? What's the other one? Oh, I picked up sax. I picked up sax a
Oh,
little.
cool. Oh, wait,
Yeah.
you just picked it up. No
Yeah.
big deal. That
No.
is awesome. That's awesome. So you're basically like a one-person band. Or have you ever been in a band?
I was in the band in high school.
Mhm.
Absolutely. I was. I played trumpet and my senior year I was the drum major. I was the conductor.
Okay. Nice. Was that, like, in the school band, or were you, like, in
Yeah.
a band with
I
your
was in the
friends? Oh,
school band.
cool. Okay, that's how did you get into music?
That was solely my father. That was my dad. So,
Mm,
him and I connected a lot on music. He always had a keyboard in the house. He was always playing music on his radio. So, that's something that, and he could play multiple instruments as well. And a lot of
oh,
times, like
okay.
on Sundays after church, we would stay after everybody had left, and he'd get on the drums, and he'd be playing his keyboard, and we'd just mess around. But honestly, music is something that has always come really, really natural to me. And I
Mhm,
think that's because like I grew up, like, watching that come so naturally to him, and then as soon as
mhm.
I tried it and, like, I really liked it, and it also came easy to me, so, yeah.
That's awesome. What kind of music would you guys play together?
Oh, we always played gospel music in the church, but when we
Okay.
left the church, it was a lot of R&B, a lot of Boyz II Men, Whitney Houston, stuff like that.
Nice, okay. I love that. That is awesome. What's your like, do you have a favorite instrument? Is there one that you, like, turn to for the most part?
I like guitar. I feel like that's
Mhm,
also the most accessible, and, like, in the
totally.
summer, you can pull it up by campfire, like, nobody wants to hear my bass guitar at the campfire or my
Well,
sax.
what are you pulling up at the campfire? Are you wonderwalling people? What's going
I
on?
mean, oh no, not one. I have a really, really, really eclectic music taste. So I
Okay.
like country, I like classical, I like R&B, I like hip hop, rap, pop, everything. But honestly, in the summertime by campfire, you got to play a little country music. You
Yeah.
got to. You got to.
What do you like to play? Is there a go-to song?
Anything by Luke Combs, I would say.
Okay, alright.
Yeah.
I like that. That's a good choice. I'm getting into country music. I feel like everybody's
Yeah.
kinda getting into country
Yeah.
music more these days. It's definitely having a moment.
It sure is. I would say
Mhm.
it sure is.
Yeah, that's super cool. I wanted to ask you a little bit about your foundation as well. So I read
Mhm.
that during the government shutdown, the Audi Crooks Foundation, you guys actually provided assistance to people who lost their SNAP benefits. And I was wondering how that idea came about.
Yeah. Honestly, my mom is a social worker, and so
Mm,
just growing up, I she always, like, instilled me, like, be nice to this person, you never know what they're going through, or, like, she just always had a compassionate, like, centered life,
mhm.
honestly, and made sure that we cared about other people too. Like, it wasn't just about you. So, like, even at dinner, she'd be like, "Think about, like, all the kids right now that might not get dinner, or be grateful for what you have. Appreciate the things that you have." You know, when you're a brat and you're a kid and you're like, "Mom, I want this." Well, there are some kids that
Yeah.
don't have anything. And so I think growing up with that, and also being in a position now where I can give back and I can make
Mhm,
an impact, I felt like it was the perfect time to do so. I mean, food instability harms
mhm.
everybody. And
Yeah.
especially, there's a lot of single parent households in Iowa, and people that
Mm,
struggle to take care of their children. I know that, it'd be so much harder, and it's literally proven. It's so much harder to get an education, let alone play
yeah.
athletics. If you don't have breakfast and
Yeah,
you
if
don't
you're
have
hungry, yeah.
dinner. Absolutely.
Mhm.
I mean, if you're not nourished, your brain cognitive function goes down, everything goes down. So it was just like I said, the perfect cause to and the perfect time to be able to
Mhm.
implement the knock and dash program. And a lot of people feel a sense of pride and are ashamed to ask for help. So this was a way
Yeah.
to kind of discreetly do that,
Mhm.
but still ensure that children and families were able to have food.
Yeah, that means a lot, and that's very intentional, like, the way you guys went about it as well, like, really being thoughtful about, like, what people are going through emotionally at a time like that, on
Yeah,
top of, what they need as well, so that's just really amazing that you guys did that. You're a psychology major, right?
I am.
That's cool. So what drew you to that?
My mom,
Oh,
definitely
okay.
my mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just people go through things and it's hard. And even in my own life, I've had an interesting deck of cards that I've been dealt, and I know, how hard that was for me, and things are challenging sometimes. And I
Mm-hmm.
also think that, in high school, being um, so profound in the media, being posted online, being an athlete, doing multiple things, it was really, really hard sometimes. So
Mm-hmm.
I think if I can be a voice for someone, for these kids that are going through that, high school is a really, really big like transitional stage that's going to set you up for life. So
Mm-hmm.
being a voice of reason and somebody that's, like you said, lives a lot of life already, I feel like I could relate to a lot of kids and hopefully help them out in whatever their journeys may take them.
That's cool. So you would want to kind of be like a therapist for students?
Yeah, I would love
That's
that.
cool. That's good. I don't know if you like mind me asking, but like, is that something that did you have a therapist when you were in high school, or do you have one?
We kind of did, but
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he was a little bit older and he wasn't always around. Like he didn't have an office in the school. So I
Mm.
think that if you really needed somebody to talk to, maybe he wasn't in that day or like whatever. He wasn't necessarily a constant presence.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to make sure that I am that for some other kids.
Got it. And it's also Andrew, with somebody being older, like it probably is a little bit difficult to understand what you were going through with social media as well.
For sure. And the biggest thing is like just having somebody that can relate to you, because if you feel like you're not really being heard or you're not being seen, then you're not going to want to go talk to that person.
Yeah, definitely. What has it taught you about people, being a psychology major?
The stigma around psychology majors is that we're just reading everybody, which is not true. But I would say that it just kind of makes you take a step back. And when people are telling you things, you wonder like, why do they speak in that way, or why do they act this way?
Mm-hmm.
And so then if you continue to build a relationship with them, you might figure out, oh, well, this is why. Like it helps you kind of put the pieces together
Mm-hmm.
in life and in your friendships and in my own personal life. I think if psychologists read anybody, it's usually themselves. So just trying to figure out ways to relate to people and just approach them with compassion, knowing that,
Yeah.
you don't know what somebody's going through behind closed doors.
Yeah. Yeah, but you're right. Psychologists, you read themselves. So what have you learned about your own internal projections and things like that?
Oh, that was a good little transition. I would say it's helped me kind of compartmentalize the things that are going on. And
Hmm.
uh, I've learned also that like it's okay to be overwhelmed. Like we have a lot, as student athletes, a lot going on in our lives, and
Yeah,
sometimes it's more than we can handle up top, and cognitively we're burnt out at the end of the day. So
totally. Yeah.
it's okay to feel a little bit exhausted. It's okay to not have 100% in your cup. Your
Hmm.
cup isn't always going to be full. So I feel like that's something that's really important, and that I have come to realize.
Yeah, that's not always an easy message for anybody, but especially an athlete, somebody highly motivated to actually really be able to internalize. So that's huge. All right, I'll let you get out of here in a second. You are turning 21 in a few
Mhm.
days. I'm curious, do you have any big birthday plans?
Well, so I turned 21 on December 13th, and my
Mhm.
teammate turns 21 on December 14th. So after
Okay,
we
which
play
which
against
teammate?
Ariana Jackson,
Okay,
after we play on the 14th, because do have a game, we do have a game on the 14th. So after we play, our family, friends, and some of our teammates are just gonna go out to dinner and celebrate.
nice, nice. Pretty low key.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, that's awesome. That's awesome. It's a good way to ring in 21. It's a big birthday.
It is. It
Yeah.
is.
Do you have any goals for 21?
Goals for 21, learn more about myself, I would say. Be
Mhm.
better at time management. I unfortunately am a procrastinator.
Mm.
And start grad school.
Oh wow, what are you taking in grad school?
I'm gonna go into the counseling side. Yeah.
Okay, master's in counseling sort of
Yeah.
thing? Or okay,
Yeah.
that is awesome. Well, that's great. Congratulations on that and everything else. Audie, thank you so much for making the time. Good luck with the game against Iowa. Thank you for confessing to us that you were once on the dark side.
Yeah.
And yeah, no, for real. Thank you for your time. I know it's a very busy time of the year for you, so I do appreciate it. And I'll see you down the line.
Absolutely. I appreciate you.
Okay, thanks, Audie.